Welcome to the Escape and Empower podcast. Escape from the corporate rat race to empowered franchise ownership. Are you ready to take control of your destiny, follow your dreams, and live life on your own terms? Join our hosts, Dave and Pete, for insights on how to break free from the corporate grind, ditch the 9-to-5, and step into empowered franchise ownership.
Welcome to the Escape and Power podcast. My name is Pete Gilfillan. I'm here with my podcast partner, Dave Greenberg. Good morning, Dave.
Good morning, Pete. How you been?
Oh, always great. You know, when I'm an entrepreneur, life is good, right? I'm in control of my future and stuff like that. And I'm watching all these headlines and I'm thinking to myself, I am so blessed to be where I'm at today. So I thought maybe I'd let you lead today on what do you want to talk about? What thing is really on your mind today as we get into this podcast?
Well, it's something, Pete, that was on my mind when I was 51, which was many years ago, maybe 10 years or so ago. But honestly, it's what is on the mind of my candidates that I'm working with right now, because it's ageism. Recognize it. It's real. It happened to me 10 years ago, and I made the leap to throw ageism out the door and control my own destiny and buy into my own businesses, thanks to you.
I think if I remember your story, you got kind of a little bit blindsided by this ageism, right? And so tell us your story. What happened to you?
I was exiting a company, and it happened a little faster than planned. And it was like, okay, well, what the heck do you do? I called my buddy Pete, who I've known for many years. At that time, you were my franchise consultant. And my experience was, okay, what's the first thing you do? You kind of take a deep breath and you get through the fear and get through the worries. You're like, okay, what do I do? Polish up the resume, clean up your LinkedIn profile, try to get a new profile picture, and then start kind of hitting the airwaves and saying, hey, network, I'm available. And it wasn't too soon after I hit those it was like a boomerang. Man, you're old. Man, you're expensive. Do you want to move? No. Geez. And then so all of a sudden, bam, it's getting all these things that I got to think of an alternative. That's when I called you, Pete. And honestly, that's exactly what I'm working with my candidates right now.
Right. So you're kind of told in an indirect way, because they're not going to tell you you're too old, right? But they're saying, we're looking for somebody that may be a little less experienced, or you may be overqualified, or really looking for somebody to move to this geographic area, right? And all those aren't very desirable as you take a look at another position. And so bottom line is that we work with people all the time that are going through and they're experiencing the same thing, ageism, right? They're getting frustrated because, to your point, they get pushed out of the corporate world when they're ready, or a little faster, we'll use your term. And then bottom line is they start trying to take inventory. Well, I'm going to get my resume done, start reaching out to my contacts. And what happens? They get a lot of pushback, a lot of, trade winds against you, right? They're pushing and they're slowing you down. Until you experience it, you don't really believe that could happen to you, right? That I'm 58 years old. I got a ton of business experience. I should be a valued commodity, and you're getting pushback.
It's funny. I met up with this candidate, and it must have been 3 or 4 weeks ago. And she is a talented e-commerce executive with e-commerce credentials, but e-commerce supporting retail. And I was like, man, that sucks. E-commerce is supporting retail. How do you deal with that when the retail bricks and mortar is going away and you don't know if that business is going to be there? Where are you going to take that e-commerce skill set? So, wonderful person said, I'm going to go out to the trade show. All my old stakeholders, friends, vendors want to see me. And it's like, okay, we'll see how this goes. Either she's going to come back and say, I took a W-2 job, or she's going to dig her heels in and start running on the franchise route. And, what was it? He was like, man, I'm bumping up against people who are $50,000 less. They got digital skills that translate beyond e-commerce. And, I'm in my e-commerce lane. And it was real, kind of a wake-up call. It says, man, I got to have that other revenue stream or that transition plan or get going on something where I don't get hit by this again.
You don't want to get caught flat-footed when you're in your 50s, right? And you need to be working on a plan, whatever that plan is. If it's real estate or a consulting thing on the side or investing in a semi-absentee franchise, but you don't want to get pushed out and then you're kind of hit with, what do I do next? And then you got the unemployment discrimination, age discrimination going against you. So let's fast forward, Dave, right? So you get pushed out. your term, not mine, out of the corporate world. You're not quite ready. You try to get back in, you hit that resistance, right? That we've been talking about, that ageism. And so you picked a different path. So let's fast forward and talk about now the life that you live. So you've escaped that corporate world. Tell us what you do on a Friday opposed to being pushed out of a company.
So I like to wash my car on Friday afternoons. I used to do it on the weekends because now I do other things on the weekends. So basically I cut out around 1 o'clock. I drive an EV, I go charge it up and I go get it washed up and I'm ready for the weekend. And, we used to, Friday afternoons, we used to meet in the bullpen as field managers, right? And figure out how we did. Do we hit our wholesale numbers and are we going to go back and what are we going to do next weekend? And then maybe about 6 o'clock, we go have cocktails. That starts at 1 o'clock. The best thing, Pete, that I really enjoy is the elimination of Sunday night scaries. When you're thinking Monday starts on Sunday because you got to hit the ground running on Monday, and Mondays now are my errands. What do you mean? I used to do that on Saturdays. No, Saturdays I play tennis and I enjoy myself. I work in the yard. I save all my errands for Monday. Go to the dry cleaner, do this, do that, because I don't start work until 1 o'clock. My point is, I'm the captain of my own calendar. I get to do what I want.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've experienced that. I left a lot earlier to get out of the corporate world and proudly say I'm an escapee of the corporate world. And, I call it Fun Fridays. So I try not to work on Fridays. I just take that time to do the things that I want to do. I'll go boating, right? I reserve a boat, use a boat, or take my convertible out for a drive. But it's where you're in control and you don't have a boss or anything else like that. So, both of us have beat ageism, right? Because right now it'd be tough. It'd be tough to get another job, even with our great corporate experience. And so we beat ageism and we work with people all the time to help them put themselves in a position to beat ageism, either as a preparing to in case something happens to them, or once it happens to them, it's a path. And it doesn't have to be the only path, right, but it's a path that they can take. And so that's what we're all about as we help people through the empowered franchisee or hire yourself. Bottom line is we're here to help executives that are facing ageism.
And the other thing, Pete, as I went through this with my candidate and myself, ageism maybe reflects on your next opportunity, but what doesn't get diluted is the skill set you have that's totally transferable into running your own business. We can talk about this more in depth another time, but self-assessment is part of any kind of transition. Self-assessment is part of any realization of ageism is real. And when you do that self-assessment, you and I help people understand what their skill set is and how they can apply that in an entrepreneurial world, especially in franchising and finding the right fit in what they're going to do in their next venture.
No doubt about it. When we talk about this idea of the corporate world, you and I got great training. We've got great business acumen come out of it. We've got great leadership skills. And what most people don't realize is that when you invest in a franchise, you're bringing that experience in from the corporate world. You're bringing that leadership skills. You're tying into a great business model where you follow the systems and process procedures. You can leverage all the great experience to go take control of your destiny and build wealth on your terms, right? But the idea is that you've got some great skills and you just got to figure out how you use those as you plan your next step.
I always tell my candidates, it's not that hard. It's really not that hard. Pete and Dave did it. Come on.
Yeah,
we can show you how we did it. You can do it. Give us a call. Book 15 minutes on either one of our calendars. We'll figure out if it makes sense to work together. And we'll show you how. We'll share our decades of experience. We'll share our path to becoming entrepreneurs and the journey and how we escaped the corporate rat race and turned it into an entrepreneurial pursuit that has just been fantastic for both ourselves and our family.
Yeah, ageism is real. Beat it. Prepare for it now and get on your own plan. And we're here to help.
Thanks, Pete. Great topic.
Thanks for tuning in to the Escape and Empower podcast. We hope today's discussion has inspired you to consider franchise ownership as a path to living life on your own terms. Start your journey towards financial freedom and flexibility. Connect with Dave at empoweredfranchisee.com or Pete at hireyourself.com. Until next time.